My plan for us today, as far as table topic goes, is for you to pick a balloon. In the balloon, we have your table topic. Okay? So you will select a balloon, and you have a needle here to puncture the balloon, let it pop, and you will talk about the topic in this balloon. So, Mr. Normandy, come on up, I need you here. Take your pick. You don't want pink.
You don't want pink.
Stop on
What you got there? Read it. You want me to read it? Okay. It says, what is your favorite childhood memory? What is your favorite childhood?
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests.
Evening.
Good to be with you. It's a great question. Spontaneity of the moment. I'll try to be very resolute and purposeful in my answer. But it's a great question, and I do have some very dear memories of my childhood growing up. Being from an Italian family, I come from a long, big family with a long lineage traced back to Italian roots in northern Italy, Naples, where my family's from. And one of the great things I always remember is on Sunday afternoons, those that you cherish eating like I do, it was always proper code and required that I had to be home Sunday at 4 o'clock, seated at the dinner table to have family dinner with mom and dad. And now, I mean, I look forward to it. Back then, we were so busy running around on my bike and playing something. I didn't want to go in the house and eat. But it was important for my parents that I was there. And if I was late, my father would get the belt out on me. So I had to be there. I must have been 9 or 10. But we'd sit down to a great meal. We'd start with an antipasto, a big salad, and then we'd have bread come out, and then fruit, lasagna, all kind of desserts and things like that, and I was there maybe for 10 minutes, and I want to go out and play again. But now, as I'm older, I want to foster the thing to stay there the whole time and make sure I made the most of the meal. But it was dear because my grandparents were there, my sisters were there, my uncles were there, and it was just proper code to be there. And it was a very dear time because you'd share family, what's going on with family, and things like that. So it was really important that I was there for that.
Mr. John Toomey, I need you up here, sir. Mr. John Toomey. There we go.
All right. That's perfect.
Sometimes when you look at a big task, it's important to approach it like you would eat an elephant, one bite at a time. Which end would you start at and why? Mr. John.
Okay, when I'm approaching a problem and it's something large like an elephant, which end would I start on? I guess I would think at the end that's not going to hurt me, so I think let me try from the tail. See if I get by the tail, if I catch the problem by my side, and maybe I can take over the problem and take it apart and start from the back end, just bite it off bit by bit. Because I figured if I started from the front end, I took it head on, I might have a problem. I might have a real battle on my hands. So from the back side, I figure I can just conquer and divide. I'll take the problem out and have it solved and use that strategy each and every time I run into a problem. That's my best strategy right now. I would suggest everybody catch your problems on the back end when they can't see, like a blind side, and just nip at it bit by bit. And that way you take care of it. Because at the front end, it could be dangerous. It might headbutt you or something else. So that's my solution to handling problems. Thank you.
We have time for one more. Miss Jamie.
I knew it. Doggone it. I'm trying to be busy. This is a fear of mine.
Is it? Want me to pop it for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like pain.
It's not hurt. Okay. Your question is, talk about your favorite movie and quote one of the favorite movie lines. Favorite line in that movie. Okay?
I have several favorite movies. However, I do not believe any of you could guess what they are. And if you were to ask me whether they make any sense for them to be my favorite movies, I would say no. I know I was only asked to give one, but I feel led to give two. One of my favorite movies is Shrek. Shrek 1. My favorite quote in the movie is when Donkey is walking to Shrek's house and he starts to talk about how much of a dump it is. And then when Shrek says, "That's my house," Donkey changes his whole statement. And as he's walking to Shrek's house, he looks over and he sees this big rock. When he sees the rock, he says, "That's a nice boat." Now that's one of my favorite quotes in that movie, because the first time I saw my husband, the first thing I said was, "That's a nice boat." Me and my friends started that joke going. My next favorite movie is How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Not the cartoon, the animated movie with Jim Carrey. And my favorite quote in that movie is when he starts to describe how his heart began to grow. I believe it was 3 times its normal size. And during the movie, you see his face expression. But as he starts to think about his heart growing, he says, "What's the deal?" That's my second favorite quote in my second favorite movie. Thank you.
Here we have the time about.
Yes, Mike was 1 minute and 53 seconds, John 1 minute and 29 seconds, and Jamie 1 minute and 55 seconds.
Go ahead and vote for the best table time. And I will, 1 minute, please. 1 minute on the clock, Rob. I came prepared with more balloons.